thank you to everyone for being chill and handling a couple of technical difficulties before we even started this thing. Welcome, everyone. Hi, my name is EmilyHanhan. This is my dear friend Audra at home, also known as Audra is Sweating. Good morrow, everyone.
Good morrow. I am sweating. I am literally sitting here, skirt hiked way up, just trying to like get some cool air. Yes, I have air conditioning, y'all. I am going through the change.
Okay. I just want to quickly say, Cat's water mixer happened a couple weeks back, and I'm pretty sure there is some static things happening because of that, even though I left it in rice for like a week or more than a week because I didn't film for quite a long time with it. So I'm futzing with it. But I have to do more of that. But thank you, Thorn. And I need to remember to bother you offline. But that's the amazing thing about this community of people. There's the Sharon and Nancy and Feffy and Miranda and Angie and Allie and Sarah and Kalina, Zebra Warrior Paint. Welcome everyone. Hey Gregory. And just everyone, Yoonjin Kim, I hope I said that right. Trying. I just welcome everyone. If I missed you, we do our best to like welcome everyone that's live. If you're a lurker, you are more than welcome. There is no pressure. But if you feel like interacting in the chat, it's also a very welcoming space. And if you happen to be watching on replay, I appreciate that as well. We try to keep these interesting and, special enough that like y'all will want to tune in at any time at any point. But I understand how live streams on replay, they take some getting used to. So thank you for that. You can follow along in the chat if you're watching on replay, if you so desire. And now, also want to thank the moderators that are here. That moderate for both of our channels. Thank you to both of our patrons, or all of our patrons and our YouTube members. Whether you support one of us or both of us, we appreciate you so much.
Yes, we had so much fun Tuesday, BT Dubs. Thank y'all.
Okay, actually, I think one last little bit of housekeeping just for moving forward. So, of course, it is just one of those nights for me. One moment.
No worries. Listen, the less worked up I get currently, the better it is for me, because like my body feels like fire. I'm like, why is my body like this? I took my mom out for Mother's Day. So while we're waiting for Emily, y'all, I took my mom out for Mother's Day because I wasn't sure with some of the things that I have to do, YouTube, Twitch wise, sponsor wise. There are things where I was like, okay, I gotta get. I might not be able to be for Mother's Day. So
when you said sponsor wise, I actually made a face to the camera, and then I was like, "Wait, I'm not on camera." I was like, okay. So thank you for being here through all the hiccups and the housekeeping. So, we love doing these live streams, and this is not changing this in any way, shape, or form. And we're not even here to deal with that kind of BS, I'm going to call it. I'm just going to say. But we also love our patrons and our YouTube members. And so for the foreseeable future moving forward, the plan is that we are going to be doing these public live streams every Thursday night, and we're going to alternate between my channel and Audra's channel. And then Tuesday nights will be for patrons and YouTube members. And also moderators. I just want to say that clearly, like y'all are. So, and we've been inspired by friends to do some stuff with our patrons that will inspire like content that you'll see on our channels. So it's not just like everything behind a private paywall. Yeah. Not that even matters if we chose to do that, by the way, because it's our channels and all of that. Yeah. But I also am like sensitive to, I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, things are drastically changing. We're still streaming twice a week live. Yeah. We just To be honest, the little behind the scenes of it is that having a having a chill live stream once a week is better for both of us, both like mentally, emotionally, with our energy, all of that. So
Yeah.
we're trying to balance actually work and life and like
Yeah, because I have a lot of
being
random work.
neurodivergent and being and like dealing with all these physical things too, that so we're just that's really what happened. Is like once we figured this out, we were like, oh no, this is actually a much healthier decision for the both of us. And yeah,
and it helps me, like, I'll be honest too, because I do my Twitch streams. It helps me to kind of plan when I can do some of those streams as well, and still provide the patrons and the YouTube members with content that's specifically for them, because I don't always get to film everything. I have a lot of things going on. I just do too many things. It's my own fault.
But like, I didn't want to make this whole stream about like that, but I just wanted to let y'all know. So if you are a member or a patron, it's a little trickier. Reminders don't work on YouTube because with unlisted streams, they just don't work. But and then if you are, just watching on the regular channels, it'll just pop back and forth between our channels every week. But
I'll try to put something on my stories so that way maybe that could help.
Same
as reminders.
And if y'all have any advice on like things that we could do, we're listening. We can't promise that we're gonna do all of the things, because like I know I'm not gonna be able to do like stories and hey Jacqueline or and again, a lot of the stuff we're gonna do in the Patreon live streams, you're gonna see show up in actual edited stuff that we do. So hopefully, nobody can make everyone happy. That is one of the topics that I am still learning. So we appreciate everyone, no matter who you are, what you do.
So sorry. So sorry. I've had an unfriendly, and I'm so sorry. Continue.
If that was you attempting to and or killing a mosquito, my reflexes don't allow that, so I don't even try. I'm just like, well, I'm food. I'm done. I'm done for. So
I'm really good at snatching mosquitoes out of the air. It's like my weird random superpower where I can literally watch it and just be like,
yeah,
like Karate Kid style.
Amazing. So anyway, I feel like that's enough housekeeping, enough technical difficulties. But tonight, actually, speaking of kind of like community and moderators and all of that, we wanted to talk about not feeding the trolls, and kind of how once we started talking about it, we realized this kind of frames out our the way we want our channels moderated, both in live and in comments, and how it's has been a community building kind of skill set for both of us. So because you see it everywhere, and I guess for me this stems from I have been a person of the internet from a really young age. I've been on the internet for, I would safely say, 25 years, probably a little longer than that. And just like freshman year of college was like my first introduction to real intense trolls. People that could be good in theory, but like on the internet, in the message forum situation I was in, just delighted. Oh, thank you, Casey.
Thank you.
Just like delighted in being a troll, delighted in it in the worst and also sometimes best ways possible. And so I think because I saw that from a pretty young age, I was like, okay, so I see what you get out of this, and like I need to remember that so that I don't let y'all get me when it's a situation like being a creator on YouTube,
Yeah. And I think what really, because like I've talked about this multiple times, but I guess let me just preface this by saying I don't really know what's going on with Gabby Hanna, and I don't care. I have never, again, another creator Never watch
Exactly.
their content. I have no clue what goes on. What is it that they do? I don't know. Congratulations, Maisha. Um,
Yes.
I I don't know, or congratulations to your son, but I don't know what it is that they do. But the way that, and like, this is not just Gabby, it's several other creators that have made a habit of quote unquote trolling their audience, right? Trolling the internet whenever something is happening with them.
Yeah.
And I feel like pre Demi, okay, people were buying into that and would play it on it and like have a good time. Post Demi, people don't want this kind of like negativity in their lives. And you could see it because I feel like 2 years ago, like Gabby Hanna's little tweet or whatever would have been something funny and people would have been laughing at it. But like, yeah, because here's the
Yeah.
trolls are, here's, you know how Blake Lively and like Ryan, what's his face, troll each other? Like that's how it's supposed to
Yes.
be. Like how me and Tina, like when you're friends and you get on there and you say something to Tina
Even
and Tina says something back, and then I send her own meme at her, and then she, you know what I mean?
even
Like,
you telling your subscribers to leave bat emojis in my comments on a new makeup nonsense video, like that's you trolling. So Feffy
yeah,
said the thing to me is originally trolls were supposed to be funny. That bitch that comes to your mentions to call you a slur is not a troll. They're an asshole, full stop.
yes.
Exactly. Like
And
that's the thing. And
yeah,
the Gabby Hannas of the world are just straight trash. And I don't use trash like I don't use trash like everyone's just like,
loosely.
oh, yes, I don't use it loosely. But that behavior is just, there is no good out of it. I get no laughter, I get no joy. And yes, the Tina memes, the back and forth, it's like perfection. um
Listen to I'm gonna like one of these days. I have one somewhere that I'm just gonna send off to Tina. Tina's gonna say something. I'm gonna send mine back to her. I guarantee you, she'll send hers to me, and it'll just be like two of us emoting back and forth. But like,
yes.
yeah,
And Cecily made the point, trolling used to be an attempt to deliberately get someone riled up, but not necessarily be a totally horrible human being. Here's the thing is, like, I've seen trolls of all varieties. Like,
yeah.
I've had the trolls that have Rick rolled me, like the original Rick roll, like
Oh
Rick
my god, I
rolled
love that
me.
so much.
I loved it. And then I've had trolls that have like sent me like pre two girls one cup, that kind of thing, but
Oh
like
no.
still image, like
Oh no.
like very visceral, like terrible things. But a lot of it stemmed in funny. And I
Hmm.
feel like, and so there was a question earlier about like, do we get a lot of trolls? And that kind of, it all kind of intertwines where it's like I see, I see you all. I see you all. Um, exactly. Like trolling used to be putting a song on LimeWire with a different name. You download it, and it's Rick Astley. Uh,
And like John Cena, do y'all remember how people used to like send you like a whole like paragraph of stuff and you would be like, what the hell is this? And it would like tell you to like read the first letter of every word, and it would be John Cena. Like, do y'all?
or other random things, because I remember the like first letter of every word, and
Yes.
it would be like fuck you, or like something
Yeah.
like
It was so funny because they would like write this whole thing and you're like, what does this even mean? And they're like, and their name is the first letter of every word. You're like, did I just get John Cena again? John Cena. See, y'all remember, like some of y'all remember, like everybody, people would just John Cena you randomly. It was such a
yes,
good time. And then it just like devolved into what we see now as like part of the like go viral, get attention. And it was that like negative attention is just as good. Like all attention is good
yeah,
attention.
exactly. It just and so it's like with something like live streams, I feel like if you activate them, like they're going to come and find you. Like they're going to keep coming back. Cause that was the thing, is that like when I would like have like if somebody sent me something and I had like a visceral reaction and I'm like typing out like how fucking dare you, blah, then like everyone in that message board would know, oh, Emily. Okay. I got one for her, but I'm gonna give her like 2 days and then I'm gonna send something to her.
Yep.
But if you were just like, if you never responded, or if you just like came back with something else and like did that like verbal or internet sparring, like what you like you talked about with you and Tina, then either they were like, okay, this person has a sense of humor, or like, well, they didn't give me attention, and attention is what I wanted. Like if I just like log out and I'm like, okay, that was a gross video, I don't need to say anything, I'm just logging out, then that's okay too. But it's that culture of like, oh, like you think you're a troll, but you're so shitty at this, so I'm gonna like attack you for your troll behavior. And it's like, no, just ignore them. Like Gabby Hanna, ignore Gabby Hanna.
Yeah, because, and listen, I will never be a person who is on the side of Trisha Paytas. However, and I believe Jen brought this up in one of their live streams. I think it may have been last week. It could have been the week before last. Time is irrelevant to me.
Doesn't matter. No.
But talking about how long it took for people to kind of understand like what was true, because like Trisha had to reap the rewards that they sowed, right? Because for so long they've been trolling people, so no one really knew what was true, and they essentially trolled themselves to the point where people were like, is this true? What, like, so when they came out and they were saying, you know, they were perhaps non-binary, perhaps they were trans, whatever it was, people were like, and you should never, and let me just say, you should never question what somebody says that they are. But I understood at this point in time, having spent a career trolling people, there was a lot of people who just didn't know what to do. And you can kind of see how they began to realize like, oh, that whole thing has kind of screwed me over, because now nobody believes me when I'm trying to actually tell the truth. And all right, Zebra, sleep well.
Have a good night. And hey, Dad, anybody else that has come in since we started. I just wanted to say YouTube Studio seems to not be working for me. So if YouTube is acting up,
let me look.
I don't know what's happening.
It's all good.
Oh, okay.
That's why I have it up. I have it up
okay,
so
cool.
that I can check on it. But yeah, I mean, I think that when you consistently troll like that, it's difficult for your audience and anybody, and even your detractors, to know when you're telling the truth, to know when they should and should not back up off of a situation. But also you as the person have to begin to realize like, my negative behavior caused this. And you have to start realizing that you have to kind of rebuild yourself into a different person. And so like when you're talking about YouTube creators who do this is what happens when they act like this. And we're seeing people, and here's one thing I am going to say. I do not at any point in time ever want to speculate on anyone's mental health, because I saw that a lot, right? With people talking about, well, Gabby has this and they've discussed it, so they must be going through. I'm like, well, we don't get to say what they're going through, but I'm going to say that constantly trolling people like this is not healthy. And I don't think that it's good for you, because like Sarah's saying, it is a boy who cried wolf syndrome, because at some point, like, you're being an awful person. Like saying you could bang everybody's parents, weird behavior. That is
Very
some weird behavior. Like, why would that be a thing that you would want to do? And that's like not funny. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not even funny. It's not like,
and here's the thing is like, I care so little about this person that I'm just like, yeah, I don't even like it's a fine example, you using that example, but I'm honestly like, the amount of care is so minimal. I'm like, must find care somewhere. Must care. Like
Well, see,
about
I
this.
didn't realize, I didn't understand. Like I was reading it and I was like, is this sarcasm? Because they're like, because I normally I try to look for markers sometimes because like some
Yeah.
people are kind enough to put it out there so that I'm not like, so I was just like, I don't understand what this is. So I had to like go into the comments because somebody had retweeted it being like, I don't know what they said. And then I had to go into the actual tweet, go into the comments, and I was just like, wait, are they serious? And then like there were people who were like, well, mine are dead. And it was like, oh gosh. And it was like, so I respectfully, I hope that you wouldn't do that. And
This is me, Deja. I'm just like, my head is just crickets. Like just do.
like being stuck at age 12 when you're 30. And that's the thing. I feel like generally speaking, when you troll like this, when you behave
I
troll
know.
like, there's only a certain amount of traction you're going to get because I feel like some people actually think, especially right now, they're like, oh, as long as people are talking about me, then they'll go see these things. But it has the opposite effect for me. Like I don't think to myself, let me go check out their stuff. The only time I even do that on TikTok is if a couple of people in the comments have stitched, like there was a stitch TikTok, and a few people in
Mm-hmm.
the comments said like you didn't even see all of what they said, and so sometimes I'll go check that to make sure that I'm not like liking something and somebody's just being like rude and misinterpreting somebody,
Yeah.
right? But I'm not a person who, when I hear about people being arseholes, I don't go check them out. Like I never went and checked out Laura Lee. Don't get mad at me. I'm just saying this was a long time ago, but I'm just saying
Why would
I never went and checked them out because I didn't care about what was happening and the negative
yeah.
stuff that was going. I was like, I don't care about them and I don't care about whatever's going on. Right. So I don't get activated by negative behavior.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But some people do, and it makes them curious. And I want to know, like, y'all, and tell me and tell us in the
True.
comments,
Yeah.
like, what happens with your curiosity that you like? Do you go check out their content, or you go see another creator talking about them so that you're not giving them the views? I want to know what y'all do
Yeah.
because
Like that's
uh,
where I think drama channels or like having a drama channel that you watch. Like I will admit, I watch Peter Mon.
yeah,
But I used to be the kind of person that watched a lot more of them. And
didn't
these
we all?
days, I'm just like, yeah, I have one person that I will watch, and that lets me be nosy about these things. But yeah, but like, I think about it in this other way where, like, and but this is me, so I'm very curious to hear. So, like, when there's an actual troll in the chat, in the comments, actually, you know what? Okay, actually, there's a good example of this. There was a situation where I saw somebody trolling in a chat or like, and I wouldn't necessarily even call them a troll, but the comments they were leaving, somebody else could say it's a troll move.
Yeah,
And I clicked on their name and YouTube showed me that they had a channel and like I saw the kinds of things that they were talking about and I was like, okay, it makes sense what they're talking about in their troll BS. But like in general, I'm not curious on a smaller level. Like I'm not curious in that or no, yeah. So it's like sometimes seeing the bigger the trolls get attention makes me more annoyed because I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear what they have to say. I don't want to bother. But sometimes I will poke around on somebody else's commentary channel to get
yeah.
the input on what's happening.
And that
Um,
seems to be the consensus
yeah,
from all y'all in the chat is that most of y'all will not go look at the problematic person's content. You're like, let me go find out from someone else what's because
exactly.
I'm not going to give them the click. And then because here's the thing about that I find interesting is, as creators, we do have control over trolling to a degree, right? Like
Yes.
on my channel, there are words that I can block, right? I can be like, I'm going to block these words. I'm going to block this. And Emily can do the same. And any of you who are creators, you can do the same thing.
Yes.
You can block words and be like, nope. Like if you don't want people talking about your weight, you can just be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to block the word weight. I'm going to block the word fat. I'm going to block the word ugly. Like you're going to
Yeah.
block the things that you know that people have lobbed at you and you don't want them lobbed at you,
Or the
right?
things that you're just that you're just sensitive about. If you
Mm-hmm.
are sensitive about, you know, your hair for some reason, or if
Mm-hmm.
you're sensitive about your clothes or your background, or
Mm-hmm.
you could put any word in there, and you can put almost any amount of them, to my knowledge. So, you know, that sets up this like ability to filter. But it doesn't always catch everything, that's for sure.
Thorn, we got you. I see
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
We
I
all,
see.
I
I
promise you,
see
we
the
see you. um, Go ahead. I'm
uh
sorry.
no, that was basically because you were talking about that, like how we can
Oh, I
stop
forgot. Thank
trolls.
you.
You're welcome.
And so this brings on something that I've been talking to Emily about, which is I do not like going into a lot of really large creators' live chats.
Yes.
And it is because they're not moderated. A lot of them
At
don't even have it on
all.
slow chat. So it's a painful experience, I have found. Multiple reasons why, right? Like sensory wise, my eyes cannot handle this chat that is because you're talking somebody who has 1 million subscribers, there's easily 3 to 5,000 people in their chat.
Sometimes
Um,
30,000. Like
yeah, it gets
sometimes,
ridiculous.
yeah.
And
Uh
so that chat is jumping like you would not believe. And it's not on slow. Their slow mode is not on.
yeah.
There are no mods. So you have people who are in there trolling. They can't see it because they have no clue what they're doing at this point. Like that's the only thing I can assume. I don't know for sure. But
Well, also think about how fast it is. Like,
yeah,
why would you be able to see it? And I think the other part of that is that live streams for me are fun personally when a creator is interacting with the chat.
yes.
And these bigger creators that are not having mods in there are not putting on slow mode. To me, it's just, and I'm not saying they're not good. I don't specifically know if, with these bigger creators, but the times I've been in them, which has been a while, it's because I haven't been in there. Um, it's just not fun because the reason I'm watching a live stream is because it's live and I can interact with people and sometimes with the creator. And when
Hmm.
it's moving that fast, I'm not interacting with anybody. I'm not
Yeah.
seeing anything. The creator is not seeing anything. So I would rather just watch an edited video.
Yes, because here's the thing. Kiana, I would not, but here's why though. I think it is because like first of all, I don't expect that. That would actually like rock my butt cheeks off and like my butt cheeks. But the thing is, I think the difference is that a lot of us smaller creators found the value and understood how to use live streams, and it really
Yes.
only really got big in 2020 for obvious reasons, right? I feel like a lot of big creators have tried or are trying to live stream, but they're not asking anyone, and they could literally ask. Like there's so many small
Yes.
creators that they could like have conversations with on how to live stream, like what programs that you use, slowing
Yeah.
down the chat, blocking words, getting mods, because it's literally like those are the things that make or break your chat. And it falls into that troll thing because it like we have fantastic mods.
Yes.
So
We
our
and
mods catch the person before they've even really said anything. Like there's y'all may not know it, but there's little key things that let you know that someone is about to unleash unholy hell on
yes.
your chat. They'll say something weird or off or like kind of sideways. And if you have really good mods, they know. They see the wording that comes out and they're
Yes.
immediately like block, And then like that
Also,
person doesn't even get a chance to like really start doing anything. And it's very specific and it's almost
yes,
the same because it's not even just our chats. I have seen this happen in other chats that I've moderated, other chats that I have been in. All
yes,
of them, a lot of them use some of the exact same phrasing to start
to open
just
the
unleashing
door.
hell.
Yeah.
And if
Well,
you don't catch them, then them and typically all of their little friends come rolling in and they just take over the chat, just saying nasty
again,
things,
that goes
doing
to the
nasty
feeding
things.
them. As soon as they
Yes.
get a snack, a bite, you are fucked, especially
Mm-hmm.
as your channel grows. The other thing I wanted to say is like, our mods have conversations behind the scenes. So we
Yes.
are talking and we are saying, okay, this person was hidden, or this person where we have our eye on. Like next
Mm-hmm.
stream, if we see, so like, and we have more than just a few mods. And I get like, and so I think the thing like with Kiana's question, it's like, here's the thing is if you don't start at a smaller size and
Mm-hmm.
practice your live streaming and
Mm-hmm.
see where the things happen, see how certain topics bring out certain trolls, how certain things activate them, then you really do get like screwed over as you get bigger in size. But
Yes.
again, it's that feeding, because if you are the kind of person where you're like, you want to turn it into something funny to laugh at, but that creates that cycle of, if that same troll doesn't come back in the chat, a different troll is, and then a different
Yeah.
troll is. And not every troll is funny. Like we're saying, some of them are just spewing slurs. Some of
Yeah.
them are just, they're spelling words out in the
Mm-hmm.
chat letter by letter. So it's not just like, oh, funny, haha, this person is roasting me, so I'm going to roast them back.
Yeah.
And Thorn is so right. It's so important to have more than just 2 or 3 mods. Sometimes we
Yep.
get sick, tired, sad, or even just burn out seeing stuff behind the scenes. I
Yes.
also never expect mods to be at every live stream.
Fact.
Never. And our mods are awesome people, and some of them are, and most of them I think are friends of, I feel like friends of mine.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you don't have a team of people, and these are volunteers, mind you,
Yeah.
in the
This is a team of volunteers that don't get paid.
exactly. And so it's like and so that's where that's where this topic kind of goes into, like, this is how we moderate our streams, and we've been
Yeah.
practicing at this for over a year, twice a week.
I know.
So
Sometimes more.
sometimes more. And then you've been doing Twitch. I've dabbled in Twitch, not as much. And I've been doing social media stuff off, like, in different roles for over a decade. So and I've been a person on the internet, and I've been a mod in like different Facebook groups. I've done this kind of stuff as a volunteer too for a really long time. So it's like, you see the behaviors, and every
Yeah.
platform is a little different. Like YouTube live streams are a different kind of troll situation than a message forum or Twitter or Instagram. But once you start doing it and you're paying attention, like Audra said, you'll see the patterns. You see the, what is one, like, I don't know how I got here. And we're like,
Yes. Thank
block.
you. And like because like the whole thing is because you're like, you clicked into it. Like, and that's the thing. The other thing about having really good mods is you develop a relationship with them and they know you and you know them. So everybody who mods for us, they know they know the difference between like hide and block. They know people where I'm like, no, just block them.
Hey,
I'm not
Tina.
doing it. Hey, listen,
Yes.
these are my blue light glasses so my old lady eyes don't get dry and I can see.
And I actually got the same frames, but new prescription. So I have like a fresh blue light coating and all my coatings on these as well. Oh, I see T. Wait. Oh, no, T. Okay. I was like, is T? Because actually, T is another person who, like, that's a larger chat that I will actually go into.
Yes. And I
Um,
moderate that chat.
yes, I do too.
I do. Yeah,
I think, yeah.
we mod that one and T can be oftentimes in live chats is talking about some really serious shit and some important shit. And it's very, very important that like when I can show up, because I'm a mod, right? When I can show up and I'm there, I'm making sure that even though I sometimes I want to participate in the conversation, there are times where I have to be like, oop, take a peek, look at what's happening,
Yeah.
because people will say some out of pocket shit. Some people will just say something that's messed up or rude, racist, it's hateful, it's
Mhm.
any of the icks. I like to call them the icks. That way that keeps everybody from getting
I like the icks.
DM'd, demonetized. I'm like, the icks. I don't like people who have the icks. So
No.
if any of the icks that come out and jump out, people who come out and say really weird things. Oh, did you see that?
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. BoomX Beauty Beat. That's Beauty Beat. Yes. That's a great thing. Yeah,
And the chat doesn't work without y'all. So the reality of the
exactly.
situation is I think about if I'm in a chat and somebody is just like constantly saying something mean or hateful, like, how come Audra's so ugly? How come Audra's so ugly? Audra's so ugly. Audra's so ugly. Just repeatedly, repeatedly. And nobody's doing anything to stop it. And y'all will have to keep seeing it. So now bunches of you are now trying to defend me from this troll who keeps typing it out and typing it out. And especially if there's no slow mode, they can keep copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste.
Thorn is one of the funniest people I know. I just had to say, ooh, Canadian dollars. Do they smell like syrup? Sorry, I just
No, you're fine.
but yeah, it's
that
like
kind of thing. So it ruins it for y'all because now you're all trying to get this person out, and you're hoping that by like jumping in and saying something, and then all of y'all are also trying to say like, Audra, do something about this troll. You need to get this troll out. Like the whole thing is, it just gets derailed. And then all of y'all are trying to defend me, trying to get this
yes.
person out. Then when I finally see it, I'm like, oh, let me just figure it out. If I don't know what I'm doing, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like that kind of shit ruins the chat for everyone. No one's having a good time anymore. You can't focus on the person who's talking and like or the people who are talking.
Yeah,
It's no
exactly.
longer interactive. And everybody's now involved in a situation that's happening in the chat, all because you didn't properly moderate it. The trolls were able to get through. Then they got all the attention that they were just begging for. Meanwhile, they've
Exactly.
probably been creating other accounts since they've been able to like get through this whole time. So like now,
Yes.
once I finally start be like, oh, somebody help. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, also I think that I think the other part of it is that like even if your chat does have good mods, I think also I feel like the community like also needs to respect the mods. So
Mhm.
sometimes also people will jump in and be like, "Oh, like that's okay." And I'm like, so like here's the thing is that in our chats, if something gets corrected, this is for the safety of our community, for us and also of our community. So sometimes you'll see this, and I'm not, well, first of all, chat derailers are the worst. Like, say hi to me, say hi to me, say hi to me. Like, but I also think that sometimes like things will happen and people will be like, oh, it's okay, so and so. And I'm like, you're being kind, but I would rather the mods be the one to say, "Hey," because the mods are oftentimes the ones that are calling out. So for example, specifically here, we try to encourage gender neutral greetings for us
Mhm.
and for everyone. And gender
Mhm.
neutral, generally speaking, in my opinion, doesn't include ladies, dudes, but like everyone's learning. So
Mhm.
if a mod is like, hey, if they at the person or if they don't, if they're like, hey, please use gender neutral like greetings because it's for everyone. Even if you're specifically greeting somebody, this is a group situation, this is a group setting. Sometimes community members will be like, oh, so and so, it's okay just for next time. And it's like, that's really the job of the moderator, and sometimes it oversteps the moderator because the person that made a mistake is going to be like, well, see, all these other people think it's fine, and it's like, yeah, but the moderators are the ones saying something, and unless we step in and say, oh, that moderator was wrong, listen to the moderators. Yes,
And
like
like Steffi was saying.
Yeah, if I call somebody out on something to correct them, I'm not trying to be a bitch. I am one, but I digress. I'm trying to uphold the values of the community. Exactly. Protecting the integrity of the chat is
Oh,
central to
sorry.
modding. So that's also, there's like the two parts of the, like how disruptive it is for the community. There is the, like, when you don't have mods and now everyone is in the chat like leave Audra alone, or Audra, please block this person, or like get out of here, or whatever.
Leave us alone.
Rather than maybe ignoring them and just continuing with the topic that Audra is talking about. Plus, then there's the other part of it when it's like there's like this defense mechanism of like, it's okay that you technically broke the rules of our community chat. It's like, that's not really your space to say as a member. Also, this is great. And if your local trans mod corrects you gently on pronouns, you're not going to die, I swear. If anyone corrects you on pronouns, the best thing you can, like, I'm going to try to say it as, say, I'm so sorry, use the correct pronoun, and move on. Like, apologize, you re-say it with the correct pronoun if it makes sense to do that, and move on. There shouldn't be a self-flagellation of like, I'm the worst. I am so sorry that I made a mistake. Like, we are all learning. And I'm not saying I self-flagellate a lot internally and sometimes with Audra or Teresa or other friends, but I don't push it onto the marginalized group that I fucked up about.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Go ahead.
Outside of live streams, I see this a lot, and y'all know I talk about this. Y'all know where I stand on this. I am highly anti-highlighting trolls. I see so many creators
who will,
like, screenshot someone being shitty and put it up on Twitter or put it up on, the community post or whatever. First of all, I don't understand that. I don't get it, because I have so many of y'all that are wonderful. Y'all make me laugh. Like, some of y'all, like, genuinely, I will just be sitting there minding my business being like, okay, let me see what's happened on this, because I'm doing so much stuff now. It's actually harder for me to like pay attention to all my comments, if I'm going to be honest. But I'll be like going and reading, and one of y'all will just like make me scream loud laughter, just like, not this. And like, I have such a good time. Whenever I remember to, I'll screenshot things and then just share it. Be like, y'all crack me up, or y'all do this. I want to share the people who make me happy and bring me joy, not the people who are being dicks, because they're getting that attention that they ordered. They ordered this attention. They went to, Dick's Last Resort, and they got you to say something shitty to them or respond to them, and then you like put it up, and they're always winning that, right? And then, like Emily has said, more people come to your channel like that because they want to get featured. Because like at some point they begin to realize that you don't highlight the positive people. You don't highlight the people who've been, bringing you joy and all that stuff. They realize that the only way to get you to respond is to say something nasty. And that's terrible, because they're like, some of these people are people who've been following you for a long, long time, and they love you. They love you so much, but they began to realize that the only way that you were responding was literally to people who are being shitty. And like, you were highlighting these shitty people. So they were like, well, let me be as shitty as possible so that I get, some attention. So if I say something really nasty to you about your hair, or like how you smack your lips, or whatever it is, and then you put it on Twitter, I won. I got exactly what I wanted, which was you to pay attention to me.
Or even if you highlight it in the chat, because like, I will be honest. So I have a video on my channel that is talking about why in particular, why, like, I don't think anyone owes you humility, but in particular, why fat people don't owe you humility. That stemmed from a comment that I could say is a troll comment that happened in a live stream. I saw it. Oh, I remembered it. It burned into my brain, but I didn't highlight it in the moment. I waited when we were done with the chat, I was like, Audra, did you see what this person said? Like, just very like rage. But this is also why having YouTube friends or other internet friends, like people that do stuff on the internet, that's why they're important. So you can screenshot that comment and send it to your friend, and it's like, I would like to allegedly do bad things to this person, and not fun bad things.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything public because they don't deserve my attention.
Yeah, you get to talk to your bless you.
Thank you.
You get to talk to your friends about it who are in this. But the other thing too is that you're not giving quarter and space to like a large amount of negative activity. Because once these trolls realize, here's the other thing too, is when you respond to these kinds of things, then trolls because trolls are trolls for a reason. They troll your comments as well. Once they start figuring out what triggers you, they're gonna keep doing it. They're gonna do it on every video. They're gonna do it. They're gonna show up in every live stream. They're gonna keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And because they know it's gonna get a rise out of you. And the thing is, these people like have groups on Reddit and whatnot, knowing like what makes you mad. And I feel like there are some creators or a lot of creators who like feed into snapping back or clapping back at everybody, and I'm just like, that doesn't work. Like I can't, like I will clap back probably once a year. Like
exactly. And
most
like
of the time I'm just like,
I think everyone deserves a once a year. Like everyone deserves like a one-off. It's like their birthday gift. You don't have to use it at your birthday, but you get a one-off. But I think there's so many other people where it's just like, or so many other times where, it really does. It's this self-fulfilling prophecy, because it's like, they don't, first of all, anyone deserves to be blocked. This is one of those things that I will say to every person creating stuff on the internet. If something doesn't feel right to you, block them.
Block them.
But
they don't. They feel like they don't deserve to be blocked because they feel like they are entitled to ownership of you and your space.
Oh yeah.
And they don't understand, like, this is my space though. So you don't get to come here.
Oh, I'm just being honest. I'm just giving you some truth that you just can't handle. And it's like saying you putting on that much blush makes you look like a deranged clown. I'm gonna block you. Like first of all, I can call myself a deranged clown. You cannot. There is a difference.
Also, who the hell asked you?
Exactly.
Did anyone ask you? Did I say like, how do I look, y'all?
Yeah. And this is, and Ali says it so well, keeping your reactions to behind the scenes starves them of the attention they crave and makes it easier to recover, because like I can just get it out, rant to a friend or rant to myself, and then and move on. And sometimes it does inspire a whole video, which is great, because you basically gave me free content and you gave me engagement in the moment. And like I just love that everyone is justice for and then justice for the deranged class. But like it's just it like it's like there's no winning to feeding the trolls, because like you compared like that action of kind of like the constant clap back as like the comedian that does audience work.
Yes.
And I'm just like, that's never been the kind of comedy show or comedian I like to watch. I like people,
because some of y'all might be too young for that.
I like people that actually write things and create jokes and like plan things out. So like
it's because of D.L. Hughley. So some of y'all might not know about, but D.L. Hughley and I don't know if they still do this, but for a very long time, their whole like a huge part of their comedic set was making fun of the people in front. And like I could not imagine having paid to see comedy only to have, and this was like one of the things that started getting more and more people to not want to sit in the front row at a comedy show,
Yeah.
because once this kind of comedy really started to take off, where literally 15 to 20 minutes of somebody's set was making fun of the people in the front row, nobody wanted to sit there, right? Because nobody
No.
wants to pay money for a comedy show and then be ridiculed in front of a room full of people. And so like that's how I look at it, is I'm just like, this is what trolls are basically doing, and they're becoming, that kind of comedian who just shows up and makes fun of everybody in the room and like, ha ha ha, I'm so funny. And then it's like, but you're not funny. And most of it was mean. You know what I mean? And that was the thing, is it was never like, oh, you look pretty tonight. It was often like, oh, you look pretty tonight. You look like shit. How'd you get hurt? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like this whole thing, which
Yeah.
makes things really awkward, especially because like some of these people, sometimes it was like a first date, and so now it's made even more awkward, like you're just trying to like chill, and now it's gotten into this thing. And I understood like the cute things were like, oh, how old are you or whatever, just kind of chatting with people back and forth. But it's a whole
Yeah.
other thing when you're like 15, like a good chunk of your set was just pointing out things to make fun of with
So,
the audience.
so there's two comments in the chat that go that I was going to say this. So Gregory said that's not comedy, and I was about to
Correct.
say that's called being bullied in school. But then Feffy said, "Listen, I already paid money for people to humiliate me. It's called school." Like that's the thing, is
Thank
that
you.
for all of us that have actually been bullied in our life, this idea of like audience work, I'm like, so you're gonna call me fat or something, like what you're gonna comment on, like the person I'm with, or like just all these, or I'm short and like I happen to be with a friend that's tall, and so it's gonna be like, oh, what are you like it's just yeah. um
Yes. And I love this, Holly, because this is another part
oh
of trolling that people don't necessarily talk about, which is, it's just my opinion. Okay. I I need to explain I don't think I need to explain it to y'all because y'all are amazing. So like, I'm just gonna say this. I don't understand. I, I genuinely don't understand commenting when you're adding nothing to the conversation. Like you come in and you're like let's say I don't like a bronzer and you love it, and I'm like, I don't like it, and then you come in and you're like, well, you're just bad at makeup and that's why you don't like this bronzer because it's the best bronzer ever. And I'm like, all right, bro, like, I
that
guess. And then they're
like
just like, well, it's just my opinion. And the rest of you are like, what do you mean they're bad at makeup? Like they do a lot. Like did you not see how this applied? And they're
yeah.
like, it's just my opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, but guess what? We don't have to show them to everybody.
No. And again, if you wanted to say, "Oh, you must be bad at makeup. That bronzer is amazing. I use," and then list this different brush all the time and it applies amazing. That furthers the conversation. You're still being an asshole, but it
Mm,
furthers the conversation because now you can come back and be like, "I didn't try it with that shape of a brush. Maybe I will try that." Or you can comment and be like, I did try it with that shape of a brush off camera. It still doesn't work for me. But thank you for the recommendation. Like the thing is that you can be a snarky little piece of shit, but also continue you can yes and the situation. Like
yeah.
there is good improv and bad improv. People just being like, well, it's my opinion. I'm like, that's bad improv. You've put a wall up and you've ended the whole thing.
Yeah, because like when
Yeah.
the second you start that, and like, and that's why I feel like it's a lot of trolling behavior, and you also see it when somebody, if they go into someone who is LGBTQ plus, they go into someone who is trans, they go into a person of color, and they deliberately say something that they know is going to work people up. Like they come in and they're like one of my favorites that if you pay enough attention on Instagram, you will always find this on a bad shade range. Someone will always come in and say, well, it's their prerogative to make their product for who they want. And we don't say anything about Black brands that create just for Black people. and they think they've done something every time. They think they've done something. The reality is that person, quite literally, I'm so sorry, Emily, are you okay?
I enjoyed that invitation so much. I just needed to like let you finish your thing, but I couldn't stop my emotions. That
Like, are
was
you
so
okay?
good.
But it's like,
there's a
I
shade for
figured out that if
me.
you pay attention enough, it's differently. It's a lot of times the same person. And also, like, they don't care. They said it deliberately to start people like
Hey,
going
Jeff.
off in the comments. Got another one. Sorry, I have like.
But yeah, the impression and yeah, it's the same. And guess what? Here's my roasty take. There are the actual people like the trend moods of the world who are commenting back to them, or they are commenting to the critical comments in that same thread, being like, well, if like, I'm thinking of the novel skin tint, being like, well, there are 7 shades, but they sheer out, so it works on different skin tones. Trend Mood is feeding the trolls and letting these trolls continue to have a safe space to say things like, we don't talk about the black brands. And you're just like,
it's so weird. Like, every time they show up, they're like, what about black brands? I'm like,
also, one of my first favorite eyeshadow brands, actually a couple of my favorite eyeshadow brands, which I don't love them anymore in the same capacity, but they were obviously through marketing or in my opinion, marketing or verbiage, black brands, were Juvia's Place and Colored Rain. I can use those products still. But a brand like Almay, or even some of the things I've seen brands like Nabla or some of these other ones release, you cannot use those products. But black brands oftentimes have a good amount of products that will work on uncooked chicken too. So that's
like
why
the
I'm
person
like,
who shows up and says like, I don't care if you dress like a woman, you're still a man. And I'm like, is that what y'all still have? Like, that's it? That's all? That's all you haven't evolved? Like, and this is my problem. It's like, you haven't even evolved. Like, do you know how many times this person has heard this? And they're just looking at you like, all right, have a good day. And then it's like, you still a man? And they're like, all right, okay.
Yeah. Like, and
are you finished? Because I'm literally here to pick up my apples. I said nothing to you. Like, you just came over here. Like, I don't know what this was for. So it's just weird to me. Like, that's why there's brands where I recognize I'm just not going to talk about them. They don't make shit for me. Like, so like, thank you, Thorn. This is my problem. And maybe it's just me and the mechanism in me. I'm really sad that after all these years, they have not upgraded their insults like we have for them. But
that is the thing. I'm like, and I know for trans people, for black people, like, I feel like it's worse. But I feel like that's one of the things I've said to you, where I'm like, call me fat. Great, you have 2 eyes and you have some kind of vision. Like, it's not an original insult. Spice it up. Give me something different. Yes, exactly, Deja. Because here's my thing. Often what works on deeper skin will work on lighter skin, but the same is not true the other way around. And but yeah, the like, if you dress, you're still a man. The dress, like, I'm just like, it's like,
and even like now, I've had men call me, like, be like, well, it's probably because you got a dick, and I'm like, it's bigger than yours, and I just move on. Like, they actually think that they're hurting my feelings, but I'm like, you're literally not hurting my feelings. I'm not trans, but if I was, it's still hurting your feelings that you're attracted to me. And also, if I had a dick, it's bigger. So I don't know what you want from this exchange. I'm winning it all the way around. I'm still fabulous, and I'm still not going home with you. Do you understand? Like, these things have happened. Nothing that you wanted to happen has taken place. And so, like, when you start sucking the air out of the troll responses, it gets really, really difficult. I'm sorry, Thorn. Thorn is over there hooting. I'm sorry.
I love a good hoot. I love hearing people are hooting. That's great. Like, yes.
It actually took me a while to get to where I actually tell people the things that I say, because it's been a large part of my adult life that this has happened. So I learned that they were, I didn't understand trans misogynoir and any of that at the time. But I did understand that they were trying to pit me against another group of people. And I didn't like that, because I was like, well, I'm not trans, but there's nothing wrong with trans, but I don't feel like I need to like vehemently deny it. And then I just started leaning into it.
Yes.
And just being
exactly.
like, and I've got a bigger dick than you. Have a good day. And then they don't know what to do, because they're like, it's like how men used to think that calling you a bitch was going to freak you out and you were going to scream. And now I'm like, and then like they even tried the C word, the ultimate. Yeah. And I was like,
I was literally going to say, I am a see you next Tuesday, but you will see me never. Fuck off and die. Like, that's my energy. And here's the thing is, like, I think for me, I've had this weird, not weird. I've had an amorphous kind of relationship to gender. So for me, getting an insult, like, which I have not had that same, like the way Deja is talking about, basically what the trans misogynoir, that often happens. But it's like saying like, yeah, my dick is bigger than yours. I'm like, I am personally not specifically so tied to womanhood where I'm insulted if you were to basically misgender me or try to use misgendering me as an insult. Yeah. And I understand why for a lot of people they like that is such an insult. But for me, I don't fucking care. Like, have fun. Have fun with your dumb insults. Like,
because here's the thing, I'm just like, first of all, I am fucking fabulous. And if you are saying that I am in the same category as Thorn's fabulousness, then I'm fine with that. Fuck you. Like, what? Exactly. You can't hurt my feelings. Like, I feel like, wait, like, because now I swear that I feel like when somebody does that, they're like, you think I'm trans? Oh my god.
And that's also like, part of it. It's like the thing of like the people in my life, like people in my life that I've known from a younger age and into adulthood that are trans or have been non-binary or genderqueer or gender fluid. They mean different things. I'm not lumping them all together. But they've typically been really amazing people, whether they're just the kind of person where I'm like, I want to know them better, or like I do know them and I'm like, you're comparing me with them. This is amazing. So like
I think fat people and persons of color and queer people have all had to deal with insults our entire lives. And at some point, I feel like it was somewhere in like either late middle school or early high school where we learned to just start leaning into the insults. Yes. And like just accepting that as the thing and throwing it back, because then it just became very difficult for them to win. And like the same goes, like we're saying with the trolls, it becomes very difficult for them to win if they're coming in trying to be really shitty and like say something negative, say something mean, trying to hurt your feelings, trying to destroy you, trying to be destructive. And like, you just don't take the bait.
Yeah.
You don't let them win. You don't take the bait. You don't argue with them. You don't fight with them. You just quietly block them. Sometimes you have badass content out of it. But you know who I'm not ever showcasing is trolls. No. I'm not letting them win, because look what's happening to the people who trolled. All the people who trolled for a long time and got by on nasty, negative behavior, being mean, snapping back at their audience, being hateful and spiteful.
Yeah. And here's the other part of it, is there are a whole lot of trolls that tried to build a career out of that, and they never even got that far.
I know.
So we're seeing a small percentage that got some fame and fortune out of it and are getting their due now. That's interesting. So Jacqueline said, I'm a cis woman, but I have PCOS and high testosterone and been assumed to be trans both by trolls and well-meaning trans folk who think I'm a member of them and agree. Leaning into the comments is great. Exactly. Like the whole lean in trend, that the book that was written by that person that was at Facebook, whatever, that concept is shit. But when it comes to insults, I have leaned all the way in, and like there it yes, you can still hurt me, but like the way trolls do it, nah, it's not. And you're right. It's like seeing the 2021 results of what years of trolling has do for so many people. It both confirms how like I don't want to feed these people in my chats in my community because we have literal angels in this space.
Thank
like
you.
We have
amazing
the
people in our
most
space.
amazing people, and I don't care if you have never left a comment or said a word, you're still in that group. Like the most amazing, loving, accepting people that are learning and growing with us. And I don't want to replace that audience with a bunch of hateful, funny or not funny people. And I also don't want to be the kind of person that tries to build fame off of trolling or talking about trolls. Like that's why we don't talk about Gabby or David Dobrik. Like that's why we're not making commentary. Tonight was the most that I think either one of us would have ever expected to talk about these people.
Thank you.
So it's like that's not the energy I want in my space as a person of the internet, as a creator. Oh, welcome, Momo Kitty. Thank you.
I see you, Momo Kitty. Momo Kitty is like the best commenter
I
because you always
know.
leave like 3 hearts every time.
Yes.
And I like it because I can just respond back with 3 hearts too. And like I can change the color or whatever. It's so wonderful.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite. Yes. Like, yeah, that's another good example, Karen, by the way. Just like, yeah, call me a snowflake, whatever. You don't even know what that means, dude. But yeah, it's just really nice to know that like we've created a culture, I think, of like starving the trolls. And both in the kind of stuff that we view as people that watch a lot of YouTube and the stuff that we make here. And it's really nice to see that y'all are also the kind of people where you're like, I might be a little nosy and look at a drama channel, but like I'm not feeding into that. That's also refreshing.
Yeah, because I feel like we start getting into, because like I've had trollish behavior. I think we've all had trollish behavior.
I've definitely
where we're like
been that
commenting
kind of
on a drama channel, being like, I think that so and so should do whatever did, and me. No, but you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me, and it's just it becomes like this thing where you literally go from having an actual conversation to just name calling. And there's a level of that which I'm like, this is gross behavior. We really need to start treating people with respect. And I think the other thing most important to me is not even just my well-being, but like also
Thank you, y'all.
Yay.
Thank you. By the way, it's linked in the description box if anybody wants to join, but literally no pressure. I just wanted to say that.
But like all y'all, I also want this space to be safe for y'all. I don't want y'all to come to the comment section ever and see that stuff. And it's one of the reasons why, like, there are times where I'm reading everybody's comments for, you would be surprised. I read everybody's comments.
Yes.
And also, side note, YouTube has done a thing where if I thumbs up and like heart it, but I haven't responded yet, they're counting it as a response. So I'm sorry if I missed responding to y'all, but like that I don't know what to do with the new change that they put in. So, but I do it because I can go through and read your comments, and that's what lets me know that I read it. And then if I see somebody being trolly or weird, I immediately delete them. Like I don't even let them stay here. I don't want people having to defend themselves. I don't want anybody feeling triggered. And I get it that the real world, and this is why I'm like that, because the quote unquote real world has no protections. I'll leave y'all with this thought, and like Emily, you'll say whatever you want to say. I'm just wanting to say this, but I hate this mentality that people have where they're like, everyone is so sensitive and we're doing all this stuff and people get triggered so easily. And my thought process is this: because the real world is harsh and cruel and nasty at the best of times,
Yeah.
I want to have a space for people to be able to feel like this is one spot that they can come where those things won't happen, where the nastiness of the world isn't attacking you, where you're not getting bullied, you're not getting made fun of, and it is a comfortable space for you. You shouldn't have to come to either one of our spaces and be confronted with those kinds of comments. So
Yes. And I actually think that Pfeffy's point ties into like that also. I also feel like it's important to have a space where y'all can be real. And you don't deserve to kill anyone with kindness. You deserve to be yourself. And you don't owe people pleasing or making yourself smaller or less intense or less anything in this space. You are not, you need to respect people, but you do not owe anybody changing who you are to be accepted and loved. Oh, Jennifer. Oh. And so
I knew how awful it would be to like, I don't know.
Oh.
We all go through things. I try, I feel like
Yeah.
that's all. Emotions are hard for me. leave me
Also,
alone.
welcome, Maisha. But no, I think it really does wrap up like this space is to be as full of love and acceptance for everyone that wants to be here and respect and join in that energy. And you don't have to fake yourself to be here. You just need to like be you. And if we have issues with who you are, we'll figure it out. And if you like whatever. But I just I am so happy to build a space and have built a space like what you were saying, Audra. Just a space that is a good space, a welcoming space. Because even when we talk about hard stuff, this still needs to be a safe space for people. So
yeah, safe spaces exist for a reason.
Exactly.
I think my eyes are watering. Are those tears?
They are. And also, safe spaces are not some bullshit snowflake thing.
Fact.
They should exist. Everyone should have spaces in their life, both, in my opinion, physical, emotional, online, that are comforting, welcoming spaces for you to be you and to not have to worry about the way you're being treated, perceived, spoken to. And that is the inner, like that's what I'm so happy to have here. So thank you all. And we've been going on for a while and we're both getting teary-eyed. I think your blue light glasses are letting your eyes actually hold on to the liquid that they have and not dry out. And since Audra's feeling uncomfortable and we've been going on for a while, Deja says it well. This space may be in the gutter gang, which is an original nickname, but it has not become the gutter. Thank you all so much for being here. We will be doing a Patreon live on Tuesday. We'll be back on Thursday on Audra's channel. Find us
I'm popping up sometime tomorrow, y'all. I don't know what time, but the declutter. Now that I got my first vac shot, y'all. It's not for the noodle arm. It's not for the noodle arm. I'm going to tell you that. But I'll be back with a live declutter sometime tomorrow.
Even if you're not familiar with Twitch, you should follow Audra on Twitch. Go explore it because a lot of people that are in this chat hang out in the Twitch streams. It's an amazing space as well. It's such a delight. And Audra just randomly pops up when it works for them. And it's always a delight. Even if you're not into the game, just like it's a good place to chat. So thank you all for just being such amazing people. I feel so grateful for all of you here. And don't forget to take care of yourself better today than you did yesterday, or better tomorrow than you did today. Mwah. Bye, everyone.
We're all the blush.
Be deranged clowns for all of us.